I wanted to make a video to explain why used car values have skyrocketed since probably the last 5-6 years. I've been in the automotive industry for a long time. I'm a technician, I've been in sales, I've done a bunch of stuff. What happened was that everybody says, it was the cash for clunkers from Obama. That was one of the things that that took a lot of used cars out of the road, but it was not the only one. That itself could not have created it without the other two major factors. I call it the perfect storm for used car values. What happens, there's three things happen. One of them is the market crash, 2008. People lost a bunch of jobs. And that right there takes a lot of people out of the equation. Why? Because if somebody loses a job, they're not going to buy a new car and trade in or sell their vehicle in the open market. They're going to hold on to their vehicle, and what that means is there's going to be every person that doesn't buy a new vehicle, that used vehicle that they're driving right now is not going to make it into the used car market. So that's going to decrease the supply of used car vehicles, the used cars. And the other one was that banks, they're scumbags. Most of them, all of them, I haven't seen a good one yet. They got bailed out by the government, which I think was a mistake. Not complete mistake. They should have forced them to have a higher standard to meet to be able to get the bailout money. And what I refer to that is, like, you can't all of a sudden get a bailout money and stop lending money. Which is what they did. They got the bailout money, and then they stopped lending money. And a lot of that money that they stopped lending was for used cars, for new cars, for people so now you have people who are out of a job. They're not going to sell their used car, thus put it into the used car market. And then you have the banks refusing to finance auto notes, auto loans. That takes a bunch of other vehicles out of the market, because if the people can't buy the car because they don't have a job, and the bank is refusing giving people auto loans for new cars, then that takes even more vehicles out of the used car market, because now you have two groups of people that are not selling their car into the used car market. And the third one was the cash for clunkers. The cash for clunkers, that was a real royal fuck up. The way they did it, it could have been a success if they had let the used cars that they purchased go into the market, or just sell them to the junkyards. But they didn't do that. Basically, you went into a dealership, and the government program bought the car from the people and then sent it to crush. So that car could not go into a salvage yard, or could not go into a used car dealership. It had to go get crushed. The parts could not be salvaged. I can't believe a more stupid thing to do than to buy a car and then all of a sudden sell it for metal, when there are a lot of parts in that car that could have been salvaged and helped the used car economy. So if you see cars around, if you see signs around that says $350, $500 for a used car, it's because the junkyards are desperate to get inventory, because all those three things happened. Now you're having to pay, people are having to pay outrageous amounts of money for a used car, almost 20-year-old car, because of this perfect storm of these three factors. People losing their jobs in 2008, banks refusing to lend money, and cash for clunkers. So that's what's going on. So sometimes you're better off just buying a a new car, you know, because a used car is almost as expensive as, you know, especially if they're Toyotas or Hondas or stuff like that, which you ask me, they're overpriced. You know, they rely too much on their past performance and stuff like that. Toyota is not what it used to be. Toyotas, they're not the Toyotas of the 80s of our parents. You know, they got a bunch of gizmos. That fiasco they had with the accelerators getting stuck. I've always said it that drive-by-wire throttle. It's a little computer-controlled electrical motor that opens and closes the flap on the throttle body that lets air into the engine to accelerate it. I always said, I'm scared of that stuff because that chip in there malfunctions and leaves that stuff open. Somebody's going to get killed. Guess what happened? You know, it happened. So, you know, of course they covered it all up. Toyota had 2 guys in the whole country flying around and getting the black boxes. Yes, your car has a black box. That's fucked up as it comes. That records data as far as throttle position, I think like pedal position, how at the speed at which you're going. A lot of that stuff stays, you know, recorded into the computer of the car, into the so-called black box. But so they only had 2 guys who were able to retrieve that information, and that information was kept secret. No, it was never released to the public, and they, of course, denied and denied and denied. But if you're wondering why cars were all, you know, right now they're stupid expensive for a used car, those are the 3 reasons.